Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to build your ultimate guide for navigating the sometimes tricky social world of school and friendships. We'll get into everything from handling pressure from friends to becoming a pro at solving arguments. Basically, giving you the tools you need to stand strong.
So does this look familiar? That feeling of being pulled in two different directions, where one part of you wants to do one thing, but your friends are all doing something else? It's a really confusing feeling, but trust me, it's a totally normal part of growing up. Today, we're going to make sense of it all together.
Okay, so first up, let's dive in and start decoding one of the biggest forces in our social lives, peer pressure. Now, I know it might sound like this big, scary thing, but once you really get how it works, you'll see that you have all the power to manage it.
So what is peer pressure really? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just the influence you get from people your own age, your peers. It's that little nudge to fit in, you know? Whether it's about the kind of music you listen to or the clothes you wear. And yeah, it can happen at any age, but it's especially powerful during the teenage years when friendships feel like the most important thing in the world.
And this pressure, it kind of comes in two different flavors. You've got direct pressure, which is super obvious. It's when someone literally says, "Come on, everybody's doing it." But then there's indirect pressure, and that one's a lot quieter. It's that unspoken feeling you get when everyone in your group starts wearing the same style of jacket, and you start thinking, maybe I should get one too, just so you feel like you belong.
Now, here's something you might not expect. Peer pressure is not always a bad thing. Not at all. Positive pressure is actually fantastic. It's when your friends push you to try out for the basketball team or get you to join a study group to ace that math test. Negative pressure, well, that's the other side of the coin. That's when the influence starts pulling you toward choices you know deep down aren't right for you.
So, you might be wondering, what's really at stake here? Well, kind of everything. This influence shapes who you are, it affects how you see yourself, the choices you make every single day, and even the big stuff, what you truly believe in. Just understanding that is the very first step to taking back control.
All right, now that we've kind of decoded the problem, let's start building the solution. I want you to think of these next skills as your personal toolkit, filled with strategies you can pull out and use anytime you feel that pressure starting to build. So, what's in this toolkit? Well, there are 5 powerhouse skills to master. It all starts with being able to communicate what you really think and feel. It also means knowing what your own values are. It's about choosing friends who lift you up, not bring you down. And of course, setting your own personal boundaries and having the self-confidence to stick to them. You know, this really gets to the heart of it all. Before you can stand up to any pressure from the outside, you have to be really clear on your own internal compass. Knowing what you believe in, what feels right or wrong for you, that is the foundation of all your strength. It's your superpower. Okay, so how do you actually put this into practice? Saying no can feel really tough sometimes, I get it. But here's a simple game plan. First, just try being direct. A simple, firm "no, thanks" is incredibly powerful. You can also use I statements like "I'm not comfortable with that," because nobody can argue with how you feel. A great move is to suggest something else to do. And listen, never forget this. You always have the option to just walk away.
Let's switch gears for a second, because look, even with the absolute best friends in the world, disagreements are going to happen. It's a totally normal part of any relationship. The key isn't to avoid conflict, but to learn how to solve it in a healthy, productive way.
Sometimes, you and a friend might get stuck and need a little help, and that's where a mediator comes in. Think of a mediator like a referee in a sports game. They don't pick a team, they're totally neutral. Their only job is to make sure the conversation is fair and to help both people find a solution they can both live with.
So where do you even start? Well, the road to peace begins with 3 really simple but totally essential steps. First, and this is the most important, everyone just takes a moment to cool down. Take a deep breath. Second, find a neutral spot to talk where you won't be distracted. And third, you set some ground rules. The biggest one? No interrupting. Everyone gets a chance to speak their mind. Now, you might hear this piece of advice when you're in a tough conversation. Repeat back what the other person has just said to you. It might feel a little awkward or silly at first, but have you ever stopped to wonder why that one little trick is so incredibly powerful?
It's because it's proof. It's solid proof that you weren't just sitting there waiting for your turn to talk, but that you were actually truly listening. It sends a clear message to the other person that says, "I hear you and I get what you're saying." That simple act makes people feel respected and valued, and honestly, it's often the key that unlocks the entire solution.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. So now let's put all of these pieces together into one final playbook. These are the core skills that won't just help you get through arguments, they'll actually make your friendship stronger and tougher than ever before.
Hey, remember those I statements from our toolkit? Well, they're just as powerful here. It's all about a simple shift in how you say things. So instead of an attacking you statement, like, you always ignore me, try an I statement like, I feel left out when that happens. See the difference? It turns a potential fight into a real conversation about feelings.
When you boil it all down, it really comes down to these 4 key ingredients. First, listening. And I mean really listening to understand, not just to plan what you're going to say next. Second is empathy, which is just trying to feel what the other person is feeling. Third is creative problem solving, trying to find that win-win solution. And finally, the foundation for all of it, respect, even when you really disagree.
And you know what? You don't have to wait for some big argument to use these skills. You can be a peacemaker in your friend group every single day. You can be the person who encourages others to talk about what they're feeling, the one who helps everyone take a deep breath when things get tense, and the one who reminds the group to always be respectful.
So, when all is said and done, that's the real question, isn't it? You now have a toolkit for standing strong and for making peace. You have the power to not only navigate your own social world, but to make it a better place for everyone around you. The only thing left to decide is, what kind of friend will you choose to be?